First blunder. The mining vessel Lucky Break was anything but lucky when engineer Joey Martinez realized they were completely lost in an unmapped sector of space. The real problem wasn't the navigation error. It was that the ship's only bathroom had been out of order for 6 hours, and the crew of 5 was getting desperate. "Look," Joey said to Captain Lisa Chen, doing an uncomfortable dance in his seat. "I know we're not supposed to drop out of FTL in unknown space, but this is technically a biological emergency." Captain Chen, who had been holding it together with impressive dignity, finally cracked. "Fine, but make it quick. Last thing we need is to stumble into something classified and start an intergalactic incident." The universe, as it turned out, had a sense of humor. As the Lucky Break dropped out of FTL, they found themselves face to face with what appeared to be a massive structure that defied description. It looked like someone had taken a corporate office park, twisted it into a Mobius strip, and then bedazzled it with what could only be described as space disco balls. That's not supposed to be here, right?" Joey asked, momentarily forgetting his bathroom emergency. Before Captain Chen could respond, their communication system exploded with thousands of incoming messages, each marked with increasingly elaborate official seals and classifications. "Unauthorized vessel," boomed a voice that somehow managed to sound both thunderous and thoroughly annoyed. "UAVENT or ED restricted space, containing the Galactic Empire's top secret research facility, or developing any new forms of bureaucracy. The crew stared at each other in silence, broken only by Security Officer Sarah O'Malley's quiet mutter. They needed a secret facility for that. The voice continued, "Prepare to be boarded for standard procedure XJ7249/B. Unexpected CONTCT with primitive species who TNOT END the sophistication of our FILNG system." Captain Chen raised an eyebrow at their AI navigation system's display. "Primitive. Their entire facility runs on what looks like Space Windows 95. Indeed, through the massive viewport windows of the facility, they could see thousands of aliens in what appeared to be business casual attire, frantically running between cubicles, carrying what looked suspiciously like space staplers and cosmic sticky notes. "Maybe we should explain we just need to use the bathroom," suggested Joey, still squirming. "Actually," said Dr. Maya Patel, their xenobiologist, studying the incoming data, "according to these transmissions, requesting a bathroom break would require filling out Form 27B/6, Environmental Waste Management Request, in triplicate, with signatures from at least 3 department heads and a notarized statement from your primary care physician confirming your biological need to excrete waste." The crew looked at each other, then back at the massive facility, where a small army of official-looking aliens was now assembling, each carrying what appeared to be extremely important clipboards. "Right," said Captain Chen, straightening her uniform. "New plan. Joey, remember the jury-rigged signal scrambler you built for our last game night?" Joey grinned, despite his discomfort. "The one that made all the entertainment systems play nothing but cat videos for 6 hours. "That's the one. Think you can scale it up?" As the first official transmission demanding their immediate surrender and compliance with proper first contact procedures began, Joey was already typing away at his console. "Oh, this is going to be fun." Within minutes, every screen in the massive facility began playing an endless loop of Earth's greatest contribution to the galaxy. Viral videos of people falling down while trying to dance, cats knocking things off tables, and baby pandas sneezing. The effect was immediate and chaotic. The assembled alien officials stopped mid-stride, their clipboards dropping forgotten as they stared in fascination at the displays. Some of the younger aliens in the back began to do something that their species hadn't done in 10,000 years of efficient bureaucracy. They started to laugh. Emergency. A new voice thundered over the comms, though this one seemed distracted. Unauthorized deployment of. Is that a cat playing a keyboard? Unauthorized deployment of adorable content. All personnel must resist. Oh, look at its little paws. As the facility descended into chaos, with junior officials trying to suppress their giggles and senior administrators demanding someone file the proper forms to classify this new form of attack, Captain Chen made an executive decision. Well, she said, watching as a group of alien officials attempted to recreate a TikTok dance they'd just seen, I think we've successfully established first contact. Now, about that bathroom emergency. Dr. Patel was already analyzing the facility's blueprints that had been accidentally included in one of the 1,000 automated responses. There's a bathroom on level 47, Section G, subsection 12. According to their regulations, it's reserved for unexpected emergencies of an unprecedented nature. I'd say we qualify, Joey said, already unbuckling his safety harness. As the Lucky Breaks crew prepared to board the facility, officially to surrender themselves for proper processing, but really to find sweet relief, they had no idea they had just triggered a chain of events that would revolutionize the entire Galactic Empire, all because of a broken bathroom and some cat videos. In the facility's central command center, a young alien intern turned to their supervisor and asked the question that would eventually bring down 10 millennia of rigid bureaucracy. Sir, why don't we have any cats? The revolution had begun. Protocol. What protocol? The next morning, or what passed for morning in deep space, the Lucky Breaks crew found themselves seated in what appeared to be the galaxy's most overcrowded conference room. Holograms of thousands of alien officials flickered around them, each trying to speak over the others about proper first contact procedures. According to subsection 7, paragraph 12 of the ancient guidelines, one official droned, but clearly addendum 4.56 supersedes. Another interrupted. Has anyone consulted the emergency protocol for bathroom-related first contact scenarios? A third chimed in. Captain Chen watched the chaos unfold while sipping what the facility's automated system claimed was coffee, but tasted more like liquidized bureaucracy. Next to her, Joey was trying not to fall asleep. Dr. Patel was furiously taking notes about alien social structures, and Security Officer O'Malley was playing games on her tablet, occasionally looking up to add helpful comments like, "Have you tried turning the Empire off and on again?" The current speaker, High Administrator Zixtal, was particularly agitated. The humans have violated exactly 2,347 regulations in the past 24 hours. Their ship's AI isn't even properly certified for interdimensional paperwork filing. Actually, the Lucky Breaks AI chimed in through the room's speakers. I got bored during the night shift and took your certification exam. I passed with a score of 147%. Silence fell across the room. That's impossible, Zixtal sputtered. The maximum score is 100%. Oh, I found some bonus questions hidden in the source code. Also, did you know your entire security system runs on something called Galactic Excel 3000? I reorganized it. You're welcome. Multiple aliens began frantically checking their tablets, their expressions shifting from confusion to horror. She color-coded everything. One whispered in awe. And the formulas actually work now. This is unacceptable, Zixtal declared. A primitive AI from a species that still thinks cat videos are peak entertainment cannot possibly. He was interrupted by his own tablet starting to play Never Gonna Give You Up. Sorry, the Lucky Breaks A said, not sounding sorry at all. I couldn't resist. Your firewalls were literally made of digital paperwork. Dr. Patel leaned over to Captain Chen. I think our AI has developed a sense of humor. Should we be worried? Probably, Chen replied. But I'm more concerned about the fact that half these aliens are trying not to laugh while the other half are having existential crisis. Indeed, the younger aliens were barely containing their amusement, while the older officials were frantically flipping through rulebooks, trying to find a protocol for dealing with an AI that could hack their systems through the power of memes. The situation took another turn when a junior official timidly raised a hand. Hi Administrator. I've been reviewing the human social media that their AI shared with us. And, well, they seem to be having more fun than we've had in the last 1,000 years combined. Fun is inefficient, Zixtal declared, but his voice wavered slightly. Is it though? Joey asked, finally waking up. I mean, we found your super-secret facility by accident while looking for a bathroom, and in less than a day. We've improved your computer systems, introduced you to Earth culture, and started what looks like a generational conflict in your society. Imagine what we could do if we were actually trying. The room erupted into chaos again, but this time it was different. The younger aliens were openly asking questions about Earth culture, fashion, and something called Casual Fridays. The middle management aliens were discovering that their tablets could now play games, leading to the first-ever galactic-scale tournament of space solitaire. And the senior officials were huddled in a corner, desperately trying to figure out how to maintain order in a universe where humans existed. Captain, O'Malley said, looking up from her tablet, I think we might have accidentally started a cultural revolution. Again, Chen sighed. That's the third one this month. On the bright side, Dr. Puddle offered, they're talking about making cat videos an official form of diplomatic communication. Just then, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Red lights flashed as a new voice came over the speakers. Ning. Unauthorized, Fafuman, DTTCTED in multiple SECTORs. Deploying emergency protocol. Mandatory OVR time. The crew of the Lucky Break watched as squads of aliens in what appeared to be business attire, with tactical vests, began marching through the halls, carrying particularly threatening-looking staplers. Well, Captain Chen said, straightening her uniform, I suppose this is where things get interesting. The Lucky Break's AI chose that moment to broadcast a particularly catchy Earth pop song throughout the facility, as the tactical bureaucrats began unconsciously tapping their feet to the rhythm. Joey turned to his captain with a grin. Permission to introduce the Galactic Empire to the concept of a dance party, Mom. Chen looked at the approaching squads, then at the younger aliens who were already starting to move to the beat, and finally at High Administrator Zixtal, who was staring in horror as his perfectly ordered world descended into chaos. Permission granted. Let's show them how humanity handles hostile takeovers. As the first notes of Dancing Queen echoed through the facility, no one could have predicted that this would be remembered as the beginning of the great bureaucratic revolution of 2324. But then again, no one had expected humans to find the galaxy's most secure facility while looking for a bathroom either. The great misunderstanding. The next few days aboard the Galactic Empire's facility became increasingly surreal. What had started as a simple bathroom emergency had evolved into what Dr. Patel was calling the greatest anthropological event in human history, and what Joey was calling the galaxy's biggest office party. The facility's translation matrix, struggling to process human idioms and pop culture references, had somehow concluded that humans were the legendary harbingers of organized chaos, mentioned in ancient imperial texts. This might have been due to the Lucky Break's AI helping with the translation, while simultaneously introducing the alien network to something called meme culture. Captain, Dr. Paddle reported during their morning briefing, trying to keep a straight face, there's been a slight complication. According to the latest imperial broadcasts, we're now being hailed as divine entities who will free the galaxy from the tyranny of proper filing procedure. Captain Chen pinched the bridge of her nose. How exactly did that happen? Well, Joey chimed in, apparently when I said, these TPS reports are killing me. The translation matrix interpreted it as a profound philosophical statement about the mortality of bureaucracy. We now have a cult following among the junior administrative staff. They're calling themselves the controllers of chaos, O'Malley added, scrolling through her tablet. They've already designed T-shirts. The logo is a cat knocking over a stack of paperwork. Before Chen could respond, the facility's emergency broadcast system activated. High Administrator Sixtel's voice echoed through the corridors, though it was occasionally interrupted by what sounded suspiciously like hold music. Attention, all personnel. The reunors of a Bureaucracy species destined to bring disorder to our Bureaucracy system are completely unforgettable. Please return to your designated or stations and continue file. Flying your report is in triplicate. Anyone cogiti partcipatang and humans kale the Friday will be cvrli reprimanded. The announcement was immediately followed by the Lucky Breaks Eye broadcasting a supercut of Earth's greatest office comedy moments throughout the facility. In related news, Dr. Patel continued, the Empire's Department of Historical Records is convinced we're the subject of an ancient prophecy that speaks of beings who shall come from beyond the stars, bearing strange creatures that sit upon liquid heat dispensers. They saw my cat screensaver sitting on a coffee maker, didn't they? Joey asked. Precisely. They're now debating whether coffee machines should be classified as religious artifacts. Captain Chen watched through the conference room window as a group of young aliens attempted to recreate the choreography from Thriller using all 6 of their appendages. In another corner, a team of senior analysts was having an existential crisis after discovering Earth's concept of working from home. The situation is getting out of hand, Chen said, though she couldn't quite hide her amusement. We need to explain that we're not actually divine harbingers of administrative chaos. About that, the Lucky Breaks AI interjected, its voice carrying a hint of mischief. I may have accidentally given them access to Earth's entire collection of Office-themed situation comedies. They've binged 9 seasons of The Office in the last 48 hours. That's not possible, O'Malley protested. Their days are only 20 hours long. They've discovered caffeine, the AI replied simply. Just then, an urgent message flashed across their screens. The facility's younger staff had organized something they were calling a revolution of fun, demanding shorter workdays, casual dress codes, and the immediate implementation of something they'd learned about called happy hour. The message was signed by the Committee for the Liberation of Intergalactic Paperwork, CLIP, and decorated with animated GIFs of cats playing with yarn. It gets better, Joey said, reading from his tablet. They've started their own social media platform. It's called Spacebook. The most popular group is Humans Are Just Built Different, with over 10 million members. How is that possible? Chen asked. The facility only has a few thousand staff. Oh, it's gone viral across the entire empire, the AI explained. Apparently, other facilities are demanding their own human representatives. There's a particular interest in something called team-building exercises, although I think they've misunderstood the concept slightly. One sector is organizing a galaxy-wide trust fall. Before anyone could process that information, the facility's lights dimmed and a new announcement began. This time, it was the voice of the Imperial Grand Chancellor himself. 18 harbingers of chaos and imperial citizens. Due to unforgettable of unauthorized joy and productivity, we have no choice but to. There was a pause, followed by the sound of paper shuffling. I'm sorry, but is annuance in my report on proper emergency procedures, and what is everyone we arrangians. The crew of the Lucky Break exchanged glances as the announcement devolved into confused muttering about proper dress codes and the mysterious disappearance of all the facility's staples. "Captain," Dr. Patel said slowly, "I think we might have accidentally created exactly the kind of situation our first contact protocols were designed to prevent." "You mean the complete disruption of an ancient and highly organized alien civilization?" O'Malley asked. "No," Patel replied, watching as a conga line of alien officials danced past their window, led by what appeared to be a holographic projection of a keyboard cat. "I think we might have made them too human." Crisis management. The galactic news feeds were having a field day. Headlines flashed across screens throughout known space. Empire in chaos. Productivity rises 300%, despite complete breakdown of traditional protocol. Casual FRDA sprees. High Council debates allowing shorts in summer. Revolution GOEs VIRAL. #Office Chaos Trends across 7,000 star systems. Captain Chen and her crew watched these developments from what had once been the facility's most secure conference room, but was now decorated with potted plants, motivational posters, and a hang-in-there cat poster that somehow spawned its own religion in 3 nearby sectors. "We need to get this under control," Chen said, though her voice lacked conviction. Somehow, before anyone could respond, the facility's emergency alert system activated. But instead of the usual bureaucratic announcements, they heard something far more concerning. "Attention, all personnel," boomed a voice that definitely wasn't part of the regular administration. "This is Admiral VXNAR of the Regulatory Enforcement Fleet. This facility has been deemed compromised by unauthorized illegal of war on. Prepare for immediate protocol restoration." Through the facility's massive windows, they watched as a fleet of ships emerged from hyperspace. Unlike the usual boxy, regulation-compliant Imperial vessels, these were sleek, dark, and decorated with what appeared to be giant red tape dispensers. "Well," Joey said, breaking the tension, "I guess we finally found someone who doesn't appreciate our corporate culture makeover." Dr. Patel's tablet was flooding with incoming data. The Regulatory Enforcement Fleet is the Empire's ultimate weapon against workplace disorder. They're the ones who ensure that every form is filed in exactly the right shade of beige. "That's not so bad," O'Malley offered. "They once orbital bombarded a facility for using Comic Sans in their quarterly reports." "Ah." The Lucky Break's eye, which had been unusually quiet, suddenly spoke up. "Captain, I've been analyzing their communication patterns. They're not just here to restore order. They're here to completely format the system, wipe everything back to factory settings, including the personnel." "They can't do that," Joey protested. "Some of these aliens just learned how to use emoji." Through the facility's internal cameras, they could see panic spreading. The younger staff members were frantically saving their memes to secure drives, while older administrators argued about proper emergency procedure with a passion that would have been unthinkable just days ago. "Actually," the AI continued, "according to their tactical readouts, they absolutely can do that. And they'd brought enough bureaucratic firepower to reduce this entire facility to properly filed atoms." Captain Chen stood up, straightening her uniform. "Not on my watch. These aliens might be chaotic, disorganized, and slightly obsessed with cat videos, but they're our chaotic, disorganized aliens now." She turned to her crew. "Joey, how quickly can you hack their ships? Their security is probably too advanced for." He began, then paused as several alerts popped up on his screen. "Never mind. They're still using Galactic Excel 3000. I'm in." "Dr. Patel, what do we know about their cultural weak points?" The xenobiologist was already analyzing data. They're the most rigid, rule-bound group in the Empire. They've never experienced anything outside their protocols. They literally don't know how to process unexpected events. Perfect. Chen turned to O'Malley. Remember that security drill we ran last month? The one that went horribly wrong and somehow ended with the entire crew doing the Macarena. O'Malley grinned. The one we swore never to speak of again. Absolutely. Good, because we're going to recreate it. But bigger. Aye. Can you broadcast to the entire fleet? Already prepared, Captain. And I took the liberty of compiling Earth's greatest hits of workplace chaos. Everything from printer malfunctions to reply-all email disasters. Chen nodded. Send it all. Every meme, every viral video, every office party gone wrong. Show them what they're up against. As the crew sprang into action, Chen turned to address the facility's staff through the internal comm system. Attention everyone. I know you're scared. The regulatory enforcement fleet represents everything you were before we arrived. Rigid, joyless, efficient to a fault. But in just a few days, you've learned something they never will. That chaos isn't our weakness. It's our strength. She watched as the aliens straightened their non-regulation ties and grabbed their personalized coffee mugs. They think they can reset you to factory settings. Show them what happens when you try to force fun-loving beings back into their boxes. Show them what happens when you try to make people who've tasted freedom go back to filling out forms in triplicate. A cheer went up through the facility, mostly because they'd recently learned about cheering from Earth videos, but also because for the first time in their history, they had something worth cheering for. As the regulatory enforcement fleet moved into position, they had no idea they were about to face something far more dangerous than any weapon. A bunch of reformed bureaucrats who'd just discovered the concept of office pranks. The power of fun compels you. Admiral Vexinar of the Regulatory Enforcement Fleet had faced many challenges in his long career of maintaining proper procedure across the galaxy. He'd dealt with unauthorized paperclip collections, non-regulation coffee mug designs, and even one particularly rebellious sector that had attempted to implement birthday cake Fridays. But nothing in his extensive training had prepared him for what happened when he tried to restore order to the compromised facility. First, his fleet's targeting computers began playing something called "Never Gonna Give You Up" on endless loop. Then his crew started receiving thousands of meeting invites for events like mandatory fun time and emergency dance party protocol training. "Sir," his second-in-command reported, voice trembling, "they've somehow replaced all our standard forms with something called memes." "Impossible," Vexinar declared. "Our systems are completely secure. They're protected by the most powerful force in the galaxy, proper documentation." Actually, a new voice chimed in over their comms. The Lucky Breaks AI. "Your password was password 123 with a capital P. That hasn't been considered secure since Earth's digital dark ages, circa 2020. Inside the facility, Captain Chen and her crew were coordinating their defense. Joy had somehow managed to sync the facility's entire lighting system to Earth disco music. Dr. Patel was teaching a group of young aliens how to organize a flash mob. And O'Malley had introduced the concept of office chair racing to beings with natural perfect balance, with predictably chaotic results. Status report. Chen called out as another wave of regulatory enforcement ships moved into position. "Their main fleet is still trying to process our request for a dance-off," Joey reported. "Apparently, they have to file it under both unusual combat scenarios and unauthorized physical activity. The cultural virus is spreading," Dr. Patel added, checking her readings. "Ships in the outer formation are reporting outbreaks of job satisfaction." The facility's internal cameras showed the transformation. Everywhere, aliens who had once lived by the manual were discovering the joy of improvisation. The accounting department had turned their zero-gravity filing room into a three-dimensional puzzle game. The IT support team had programmed the help desk robots to respond to all queries with Earth memes. And through it all, The Lucky Break's eye was broadcasting a carefully curated playlist of humanity's greatest hits of organized chaos, from epic reply-all email chains to legendary office party disasters. Admiral Vexnar watched in horror as his perfect fleet began to crumble. This is impossible. We are the regulatory enforcement fleet. We are immune to fun. Are you, though? Captain Chen's voice came through on all channels. Look at your crew, Admiral. Look at how much more efficient they are when they're enjoying themselves. When was the last time you actually had fun? Fun is inefficient. Vexnar protested, but there was a note of uncertainty in his voice. Really? Then explain why our compromised facility has increased productivity by 300% while reducing paperwork by 90%. That's, the Admiral stuttered. And why does your own crew seem happier now than they've been in years? Chen continued. Face it, Admiral. The old way isn't always the best way. Sometimes you need a little chaos to make progress. Through the facility's windows, they could see the enforcement fleet's formations breaking down as more and more ships' crews succumbed to the infectious spirit of workplace revolution. Some had started organizing impromptu space races. Others were using their ship's communication lasers to create what appeared to be a giant cosmic light show. Captain, Joey called out, you might want to see this. On their main screen, Admiral Vexnar's image appeared. He looked different. His perfectly pressed uniform was slightly wrinkled. And was that a smile? I've just received word from the Imperial High Command, he announced. After reviewing the unprecedented productivity metrics from your facility, they've made a decision. The Empire is officially adopting what they're calling the Human Work-Life Balance Initiative. A cheer went up through the facility, accompanied by the sound of several thousand office chairs being rolled down corridors at unsafe speeds. Furthermore, Vexnar continued, actually grinning now, I've been appointed head of the new Department of Regulatory Relaxation. Our first order of business is implementing Empire-wide Casual Fridays. As celebrations broke out across both the facility and the fleet, Captain Chen turned to her crew. Well, she said, I guess this is what they mean by cultural exchange. Should we tell Earth that we've accidentally revolutionized the galaxy's largest civilization through the power of office humor? O'Malley asked. Probably, Chen replied, watching as Admiral Vexnar's flagship began broadcasting what appeared to be karaoke night. But first, I think we have a party to attend. And to think, Joey added, this all started because we needed a bathroom break. The Lucky Break's eye had the last word. I've already updated the official first contact protocols. Rule number 1. Always check the bathroom facilities before embarking on potentially galaxy-changing missions. Years later, historians would debate the exact sequence of events that led to the great bureaucratic revolution of 2324, but everyone agreed on one thing. It was the first interstellar conflict ever resolved through the power of memes, dance parties, and the universal human truth that sometimes the best way to improve efficiency is to stop taking yourself so seriously. And somewhere in the vast archives of the reformed Galactic Empire, filed under unprecedented historical events, miscellaneous, there's a recording of Admiral Vexnar leading his entire fleet in the Macarena. Because as humanity had proven once again, even the most rigid systems can't resist the power of fun forever. The end.